Alrighty, folks, I made it to Goshen, Indiana. So, howdy from Goshen, Indiana. North Goshen Yard, to be specific. Alrighty, the gate is opening up, and I'm gonna drive inside the yard and see if I can find my unit. I do not know how they mark the units as far as identifying the VIN numbers. I see it written on the bumper, I think. So I'm gonna show you what I got going on here, driving around, and gonna run down the first row of motorhomes, I think. I'm looking for, see, what does my paperwork say? A Four Winds. It's a Thor motor coach, Four Winds. So I don't think it's there where this motorhome is. So I'm gonna go on around him and see if I can find it. So bear with me, peeps. Bear with me. I think I found it. I think it's that F450 behind me. So I'm gonna go double check the VIN number with my paperwork, and I'll see if that's the right one. They mark things a little differently on finding the VIN. This one's written on the windshield, but I think that's it. So hold on. Alrighty, I have transferred everything out of the rental into the driveway unit. I'm going to go park the rental over there with the others, and then I will pull the unit out of its spot, do a walk around, and take my pre-trip pictures. So that's next on the list. But first, let's park the rental. Alrighty, everybody. That's what I got going on. According to the paperwork, see, I know nothing about any of this, so this is all new to me. The unit description is listed as a 31-foot Class C. GVWR 14500. Picking up Goshen, Indiana. Delivering Sefner, Florida. And that's about all I've got for the information right now. I'll take you around, walk around the outside. You can kind of see a little of the inside there. Kind of cool. So I'll show you the outside. Which the inside's probably way more fascinating than the outside. One moment, please. On the drive-away units, part of your pre-trip, you need to, I pop the hood and check all my fluids, oil level, then I start it up and check my transmission level. One of the things I learned from, shout out to Robert, who's let me have him on speed dial, and he's talked me through a lot of this because it was my first time doing this driveway. He says he takes the caps off the wheels, one, because he doesn't want them falling off in transit. Another, he checks to make sure the lugs are actually there, and I'm like, that's a thing? So I took those off, and see, what else did I do? Well, I had a little trouble starting it, and I found out that there's a kind of a master control that you have to shut off or turn on to get enough battery to the juice. Because when I first started it up, I started it up twice, and it did, and it just started right up. But the third time I went to start it, it just cranked and wouldn't start. So I had to call Robert again. I called him like 50 million times. Plus he was on the phone with me for an hour on my way up, just telling me a few things, telling me a lot of things, mostly transportation, like after the trip is done. I have paper placards I have paper placards because we're not allowed to put the magnetic ones on because they might scratch the paint. So I have paper ones. And then of course I have new transporter plates because I had lost my other transporter plates, and so they issued me new ones. I knew I needed to come up and get them anyway. Got this one in the dash, the other one in the back of the vehicle. On the back of the vehicle. And when I turned on the master switch, every light in the house was on. And so I went through the whole coach trying to find all of the light switches to get them shut off. And then I noticed when I was doing a walk around, the awning lights are on, so I need to find the awning light. Probably one of those switches down there. That control knob right here is the one that I turned on to give me enough juice to start the unit back up. So since I'm in here, I'll show you a little of the inside. And earlier, when I started the unit, I noticed that this light was on, and I didn't know what it meant, and I called Robert, and he said that's a low air indicator on the tires, and there was a display on the dash, which I can't get it to come back on, that was showing me what the air pressure was on all 6 of the tires, and it showed that my passenger side rear inner tire was at 60. And so Robert was mentioning that when that happens, you can either go down to Glenn's Tire, because I guess Horizon has an account with them, and they'll fill it up and bill Horizon. I don't know how all of that works. Or if it's after hours, call Control, and Control will get a hold of Glenn's Tire, and Glenn's Tire will come out and air up the unit. So I'm waiting to hear back from Control. They're going to contact Glenn's Tire about coming out to air up the tire. So I'm just kind of sitting here waiting. And I've gotten all my pre-trip pictures submitted, got my logbook all caught up. And at this point, I'm just waiting to find out what to do about that low tire. Then we're ready to go. I was ready to go a while ago, but I'm just letting the truck. I'm letting the unit run because I want the air, and can't think if there's anything else to say at this point. So you'll know something when I know something. Morning from Rochester, Indiana. I didn't make it very far last night. I knew I wouldn't. I had too much going on during the day, learning the unit, learning the pre-trip, trying to figure things out, bugging people, calling people. And I was talking with another driver yesterday when I was at corporate, and he said that they stop before sunset and they leave after sunrise. They just take their time, they just do their thing. I'm like, that's cool. And then last night, it's getting darker and darker. and I saw a deer along the side of the road. And I'm like, oh, because I thought it was going to come out in front of me. And it turned and went the other way, and that scared me to death. I'm like, I do not need to hit a deer with this motorhome. So I needed to stop anyway, because I needed to get air in that tire, which I did air it up and aired it up, and the display on the dash is still saying it's got low air. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Must be a defective sensor. I know Robert was telling me that sometimes that valve stem connector thingy, I don't know really what it's called, but he said it'll give you a low sensor reading, and then you just tighten it up and then everything's fine. Well, I don't know how to tighten it up. I don't know what he's talking about. That's all I have to say about that. So I'm having real, on a personal note, I'm having separation anxiety issues for my girls. I called to check on them this morning. They're not doing good. They don't like being away from me. Interstate 75, exit 29, Georgia. Billboard signs. Get your picture taken with Bigfoot. Bigfoot is plastic. Okay. This place was not worth the stop. For me, anyway. There's another sort of Bigfoot right there. Anyhow, all these years I'd never stopped. I wasn't missing anything much, was I? Okay, onward. I'm not going to be able to deliver to the customer until in the morning, so I'm just taking my time, and we'll get there when we get there, right? Did I mention they didn't even have a little stuffy Bigfoot that I could collect? Kind of like my little Buckies here that I've got. Oh, Bigfoot. How can you boast Bigfoot Travel Center and not have a Stufty's Bigfoot? Morning from Sefner, Florida. It rained last night. So last night I packed up my bags, got everything ready to go, and now I'm just kind of waiting on the customer to open. I walked next door to the Flying J, got myself some breakfast, sitting here charging my phone, which is down to 15% battery. I'm freaking out. My friends who know me well, my battery gets below 50% and I'm freaking out. So 15%, I'm practically hysterical. But, yep, got my bags all packed. And just waiting. I've already nabbed myself a load off the reload board down in Fort Myer, Florida. So if everything goes good, I plan to hop a bus. The driver for the unit behind me said, look into FlexBus. And I Googled it, and sure enough, and I'm like, cool. They got an option on there that you can pay like an extra $13, and it's kind of like you're paying for the seat beside you so that nobody can sit beside you. I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently everything's a thing these days. So I'm going to have my breakfast. I'm just going to wait for everybody to show up so we can get this day started.